Hello and welcome to the Dot Analysis video. Today's on the Shiftry, which is a pure electric type which defensively is pretty good, but offensively it's not amazing, especially since hidden power got removed. The electric types got like a huge hit from that, and also like signal being got removed. That's also pretty big for a lot of electric types, since there was like they generally speaking don't get much coverage. This thing is not really a similar case. I think it's quite a bit of coverage, but still it does generally hurt electric types, although this thing doesn't really care as much. I did mention the damage calc working in the Ludicolo video. I'll link that in the description if you want to check it out, if you don't already have in my server, but you know, I'll help a little. Make it easy. So yeah, and also I added like a bunch of sets to it. I don't know. I don't think it was back then. It was that way back then. Like until like I'm going into in like video order until like the Greninja. Everything up to then is like sets in the calc. And working on it, although it's a lot of boring work and I don't really want to do it a lot of the time. So yeah, it's gonna take a while probably. Like it's a lot of work. It's like 300 sets that I want to make, and I'm like at 50, and it's a lot of work. But yeah, besides this is not the point. Delta Shiftry, its stats are also like very similar to the Lugodo's stats. Like it's, I think the same set but just distributed differently. Well, actually no. Lugodo's like 70 speed, I think, and this thing has no 70 stats. Oh well. So basically, this thing is not amazing. If you look at the stats, a 90 HP, 60 defenses, it's okay. It's not really that bulky, but it's like its HP is high enough for it to be able to take some hits, although not too many. And it's offensive 80 attacks, 90 special attack, 80 speed. Speed is middling. It's not anything special. It's kind of like uninspiring, to be honest. It's a bit low. You would like it to be higher. Like even 80, like Scarf, you don't outspeed like everything, which is a kind of a pain. But this it hits up to like 144, I think. 145, I just outspeed it, I think, which is kind of unfortunate. Um, Especially viable, physically viable, although it does not hit that hard. Looking at its abilities is gonna make it slightly better, because this has two good abilities. It's Volt Absorb, minus, and Hubris. Volt Absorb means that you get healed by electric type moves instead of damaged by them. Minus is basically useless because it needs to work. It needs another Pokemon with plus for it to actually work. And if it works, it gives you a 1.5 times special attack bonus, but I'm not sure entirely how it works because I was too lazy to figure it out because it's bad anyway. And Hubris gives you a boost, special attack boost every time you take a KO. It's the special version of Moxie, which is a good ability. So for physical attackers, so this is a good ability for special attackers. Like it allows you to steamroll a little bit. Like I like to compare this thing a little. Like it's not really comparable, but I like to compare it a little bit to like Circuitry with Beast Boost, which Hubris kind of like imitates on special sets. But I'll get like the calc, the fraction of damage that the Shiftry does compared to Circuitry is 62.5%. It does barely anything compared to Circuitry special attack. Like, it's really underwhelming if you look at it like that, because Circuitry is not broken or anything. So this thing is like, it's not the best Pokemon, but it's got some things for, like, I like the physical set a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. Notable moves: it gets Nasty Ball Sword Stance, a setup which is very good. Makes it both sides of the physical special makes them both viable, because it does get a good setup on both sides. Tailwind to boost your speed, Taunt to stop things from using status moves. U-turn for momentum, Volt Switch for momentum. U-turn is good for ground types, Volt Switch does more damage, generally speaking. Knockoff remove items, and Fake Out for like priority flinches the opponent guaranteed. If you want to run like guaranteed chip, guaranteed, there's ghost types exist, but you know, there's not much you can do about that. So yeah, it's mostly Nautical Short Sense and the momentum moves are very big for this thing. The first set is the most obvious set in my opinion. It's the special set. I gave the choice Scarf because I like Scarf, like the idea of Scarf plus Hubris, because it allows snowballing to happen more easily. But as you might see, I did put Nasty Plot down there. You don't have to run Choice Scarf, but you do run Hubris like 90% of the time. Volt Switch for pivoting, which is kind of obvious with Choice Scarf. Thunderbolt for bigger damage. You can also run like Discharge or Thunder if you like want to play it risky, or if you want to like get lucky with Discharge. Energy Ball helps with ground types. Fire Blast helps with grass types, and other obvious I put Dazzling Beam, which helps with dragon types. You can pick and choose whichever moves you need to hit whatever you need to hit. Focus Blast is a good coverage option, which helps with steel types, helps with normal types, helps with dark types. Although Dazzling Beam also helps with dark types. And Fire Blast also helps with steel types. Flash Cannon, which helps with fairy types, which can be pain to deal with, and also helps with like ice types, which that's not really a problem, and like rock types is also not really a problem. Taunt, it's Taunt. U-turn if you want momentum that doesn't get like stopped by ground types, which is like nice to have. But like it feels like weird to have Volt Switch and U-turn, because Volt Switch is kind of a key move on Scarf set, and U-turn is like you're wasting two moves on doing the same thing basically. So like you can do whatever you want, I guess. Nasty Plot setup if you're not Scarf. Icy Wind is I put a Icy Wind there because Icy Wind gives you like knockoff Bolt Beam, kind of. Like you've Bolt, but you don't have Beam. But Icy Wind is like okay. Like it also lowers the opponent's speed, which makes you technically faster in comparison. Which might allow you to outspeed and then hit your opponent quite hard on the turn after. Even if Icy Wind isn't super effective, if they expect Icy Wind or something like that. Like, it's a good move to have, and it hits everything that Electric doesn't really hit, basically. Tailwind, it's a good move. You can like boost your own speed with it, and then outspeed things. Like the speed is a big issue for this thing. So well, this thing is not fast and it doesn't hit that hard. That's why Nasty Plot is good, and that's why Tailwind is good, because the Tailwind it can actually outspeed things. That's why also the Choice Scarf is there, because then you outspeed a lot more than you usually would. But there still are a lot of Scarfs that outspeed you anyway. Yeah, that's basically like the gist of the special set. I like Scarf Hubris a lot, but it's still it has some problems for sure. Like it still doesn't hit that hard. It struggles to get the first skill basically. Like if you can get the first skill, that's fine, then you can try to start snowballing. But if you don't even get the first skill, then you're basically fricked. Then the second set, the physical set, Volt Absorb instead of Hubris this time, because Hubris doesn't really gain you anything. Sword Sense, Wild Charge, Flame Charge, Filler Coverage. I do really like Flame Charge on this, because it's basically Tailwind on the last set, but you actually do damage. And to a type you can't otherwise really hit, like grass types. You can Flame Charge the grass types that come in on your Wild Charges or anything like that. You do struggle a little bit with like Dragon types and Electric types themselves, but this is really and also like ground. You don't really hit like the special set does well that the physical set doesn't really do well. It has coverage to hit the things that electric can't really hit, and it covers basically all of them pretty well. While this thing basically can't do anything like that, but it is kind of what it is what it is. You can't really get everything. Resource Sense Wild Charge, it's definitely the hardest thing, the way this thing can hit. Both physically and especially, Wild Charge is going to be the strongest move this thing can possibly do. Filler coverage, knock off, remove items, superpower, help with steel types, helps with normal types, helps with rock types, helps with all kinds of types. Low kick, same purpose except that it doesn't lower your stats and it might be weaker, depends on what you're using it against. Iron Head for fairies, U-turn for momentum, Thunder Punch if you don't want to get recoil, like if you're like some like sub-Salic set or something like that, which is viable I guess. You can run Thunder Punch if you don't want to kill yourself. With Wild Charge, Taunt because it's Taunt. Acrobatics if you like, as I said, like the sub-Salic set, like then you use your item and then you can use boosted acrobatics, because acrobatics and Thunder Punch hit like cover each other's weaknesses pretty well, except electric types resist both of them, but you do a Volt Absorb, so like to some extent you don't really care. And as Fire Punch, which is a stronger flame charge, but it doesn't boost your speed. Not really worth in my opinion, because the speed is really nice to have, but yeah, basically it's not bad physically, but like Shiftry overall is like a bit underwhelming. Like its move pool is there, its stats aren't. Its stats are really underwhelming. Like they're average. They're not bad in any way, but they're not good in any way either. So like you want to have better stats, but you just don't have better stats. So yeah, that's the idea of Delta Shiftry. It's not bad. I think it's pretty decent electric type for like a cheap electric type, but like it's not like the best thing in the world. It's like I think like something like Heliolisk or even Raichu could be considered better than this thing. But yeah, that's the Shiftry. Next up is the worst mega in Insurgent, like by far the worst mega in Insurgent. It's not inspiring at all. It's kind of sad, but okay. I have to cover it anyway. So see y'all then. Goodbye.